mountains shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together.
American family. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. Now, even as we speak, there are those who are preparing to divide us. The spin masters, the negative ad peddlers, who embrace the politics of anything goes. Well, I say to them tonight, there is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America. There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America.
Hello. Welcome, guys. Welcome for another edition of Stories with Carl Sean Watkins. And I have, amazing guest today. I just don't even know where to begin with the guest I got today. She is a phenomenal, adjectives just can't describe her. The energy she brings, the enthusiasm. She's also proclaimed the queen of enthusiasm. She gave me a name yesterday, King of Vulnerability. And I just love that action that goes on. I just love what she brings to the table, her energy, her fire, her love for people, and her love and passion for what she does. I just want to appreciate everyone. My little housekeeping tips. Thank you for coming out, whether you're going to watch it today live or on hashtag replay. Please go and watch it. Any questions that you have, drop them in the comments. I will watch the replay. I will try to bring them up and we'll discuss them as we are live. Also, please tell me where you're tuning in from. This is a global show and we're catching global audiences all over. And we want to know where you're tuning in from. Let us know, as they used to say when I was growing up in the city, rep your city, rep your country, so we know where to send the shout outs to. Now, without any further ado, we're going to bring the queen of enthusiasm to the stage, none other than my dear friend, Claudia Wyatt. What's up, Claudia?
Hey, everybody. Hi, Carl. Thank you so much for having me. This is going to be fire.
They just don't know. They don't know you like I know you. I got my girl, Charlene in. She's kicking it in from Brooklyn. I hope she got my homie, the cat, watching with her, too. I know he's somewhere tearing up Brooklyn. Yes, Claudia. But it has been like we've talked we talked on Zoom, and I know, your enthusiasm. I see it in your posts. I see it in what you do. But people don't really have the slightest, unless they know you, they don't have the slightest clue as to how energetic, enthusiasm you are. Who is this ball of fire, the queen of enthusiasm, Claudia Wyatt? Who is Claudia Wyatt?
I definitely represent myself on a whole nother level. That is true.
Yes.
I live to be excited. The world is a place where you can really fixate on doom and gloom if you want to, and I refuse to do that. So no matter what I'm doing, no matter what I'm bringing the noise. I'm bringing the happiness. I'm bringing the excitement. I'm going to flip that switch and turn it around. I'm an optimist. I'm a realist. I understand things do happen in life. However, let's bring some joy. Let's bring some fun. Let's bring some light. Turn up the volume a little bit.
Yes, we definitely turn up the volume. It is fire. definitely. What brought about, like, what inspired you, or who inspired you to like just like bring this positive energy on? Because I know sometimes a lot of things, it is easy. Don't get me wrong, it's easy to be Debbie Downer with a lot of things. Here we go to the pandemic, and a lot of things have happened to people, and even before that, just so many tragedies, calamities that have really befelled us. Period, as people. But how do you kind of keep, like, who inspired you to kind of keep that flow of like, yo, I'm not dealing with this. I'm staying on high octane energy.
Well, I think we've all been in that spot where we just kind of felt lost. We didn't know where we were. We didn't know where we were going, what was coming. And one day I made a choice to come out of it. I was like, I am not doing this anymore. This is not me. I always have had a big heart and a lot of excitement for new things and learning and energy. And I just find joy and excitement in everything. I always say I'm overly excited when someone shows me, oh my God, that's so great. I get very excited. I want to support and make people thrive and be happy. So when you're in that spot where you're kind of just like, I don't know what's going on here, you have to make a conscious choice to go, I'm coming out of this today and it's going to be awesome. And if you lean into every day waking up and going, today's going to be awesome, today's going to be awesome. So live in what you want to do. I've been very fortunate. I have something inside of me. I still don't necessarily understand it, but it's part of who I am that has this fire and this energy and this light that just bursts out of me. And I've been very fortunate to meet lots of people, and they'll say, there's just something about you. And at first I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. And then more and more people started to say it to me, and I was like, I must be different than other people. I guess I have something that people just don't see every day. But I have this energy that I have now, bottled, so to speak. And when I connect with people, I give it to them. And then you feel it. And then we all feel it. So how great is that?
That is absolutely good. I can remember now, I'm going back in time a little bit. When I first saw you, I think I was on Usama. I'm going to have him on tomorrow. But I was on his show, and like, it was just amazing. Like, it was like, I just was kind of like want to jump through the screen. Like, you're a ball of excitement. He's a ball of hypeness. I'm like, I was just looking at you two sharing the stage. I was like, yo, I have got to get her on my show. It was just like amazing. And he's the super duper connector. So he's like, yeah, get on your show. And he's like, it takes a lot for that. And I definitely appreciate people like you that because the world needs people like you. And you also have that attitude where it doesn't matter. You're just one person. But I think if we get that mentality that one person can make a difference in so many people's lives, just with the attitude we bring. I was at the grocery store yesterday, and the clerk looked like I won't use the term deaf so much to say, but you could just get a feel for that's how she was looking, ringing people up, right? And it wasn't so much that I was in a hurry, which I was, because me and grocery stores, we do not get along. I do not like to go in them. I know I need everything that's in there, but I do not like to go whenever.
I am with you.
Yeah, so I'm going to start taking advantage of this shopping from home kind of thing. And I went in there, and the girl was going, and she wasn't really going slow, but you could just pick up the whole vibe with her and ringing up. So when it came up to my turn, I said, I'm going to try something here. And I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about the show today. I said, I'm just going to get like real excited with her and see how this plays off, right? So I started putting my stuff on the conveyor belt, and I'm like, hey, how are you? I just got like real loud and excited and stuff. And she looked at me, she was like, I'm fine. You gave that look like, yo, this dude's crazy. First, she gave that look like that. And then she was like, oh, wow. She's like you're the most excited person I've seen like in a long time. I was like, yo, I got excited because I saw that you wasn't really feeling excited. And I said, I just want to pass some of my energy to you. So I know you probably had a long day. You've been doing a lot. You coming up to the end. I said, when you get off? She said, I get off in about an hour. I was like, well, from me on point, the next part of this hour, I want you to have a fantastic day. Yo, she rang my stuff up, and I mean, she grinned the whole time. And I just felt so good, not so much of myself, but what I was able to bring. Is that the kind of vibe that we get all the time with Claudia?
It is. Sorry, it's here to stay. But do you see what happened? You took someone who you saw. You were actually paying attention to someone who needed you that day. Yeah. And you just flipped that switch, And by giving them a little bit of you, it turned their life around. It turned their world around. It turned their day around. I love it. I love it. That is 100% me. I do it every day. I actually was working with someone yesterday, and, I was talking to her about how kind she is to other people, but she's really hard on herself. And I'm like, why do you talk to yourself the way you would never talk to other people? And she looked at me like she had never thought about that before. And I stopped and paused, and I just kind of smiled to myself as I watched the wheels turn. And she looked at me and I go, "You've never met someone like me before, have you?" And she goes, "Nope, I have definitely not met anyone like you." And I said, "Great, my job is done today. We are making things happen."
Yes, I felt that. I had to go up there and get my man Usama is in the house. He said that you are his twin, my twin Claudia.
Yes.
I'm telling you, you guys bring the fire, the energy. Like, I mean, I know I got my energy points, and I'm looking at you guys. I'm learning so much, and I'm developing so much. But that really put on it. So I like to be there for people, but that put me in a place of being there for someone differently, and I felt the power in that. And seeing that, and then I just kind of not nosy stalker, but I kind of hung around the side to see a couple people behind me to kind of see if she was just giving it to me, because I was there, or she pepped up, seriously. She really started, interacting with the customers and that kind of thing. And I was like, yo, she is really going to enjoy this last hour work, and it's going to be something that she's going to remember for days to come. She's going to remember me. She don't know my name. I didn't tell her my name. We didn't introduce ourselves. But she's going to go back and tell people, yo, this guy I had at work this last hour, and those are the kind of things that we want to make impacts on that. What are you truly what is Claudia truly passionate about? I hear about the energy. I hear about the enthusiasm. I hear about this making those differences. But what are you really passionate about? What is something that just Claudia can't live without doing?
I can't live without people. I learned that during the pandemic. I need people in any way possible. I am all about people. People need people. And even if you're a person who likes their alone time and their downtime, and I'm a big advocate of that, you do need to, check in with yourself. You need to be around people to get a spark, to get excited, to find a path or a purpose. People, when they're with you, they feed off each other. And when you find that person that can just take your heart and make it explode, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be just people that you have a love for. That's what I get excited about. And I get excited about helping people. When I see that someone in the situation with the lady at the store needs me, I just show up. And I have found that whenever something is going on or somebody needs me or there's a situation, I happen to not be busy. I suddenly am available. It's like the universe said, you need to be in this spot, in this moment, at this time, because somebody's going to need you. And I have found that is a real thing for me. I always laugh, and I say it all the time. When something happens, I'll say, well, it looks like I was needed today. So I needed to be, it's like, if I had a cape, I would wear it. Okay. I am ready to help anybody at any time. That's where my passion lies. My passion lies in finding someone, helping them find their purpose, and letting them know there is more to life than what's right in front of you. You just have to be open to it.
Yeah, my man Osama said, mic drop. Man, the comments is flowing. I say, my man Martin said, you already made him feel just happy for no reason because of your energy. It's Martin, I appreciate you, bro. You're always coming through, showing your love. I appreciate that support. It is important and so very important. And what I found with just dealing with people on a natural level, you need people, and I don't think people really realize that. I think the pandemic has probably opened some eyes to that because of the fact that the things that we took for granted, just even a neighbor, for a while, even in my cul-de-sac, the neighbors, everybody's was working from home to some extent, right? And you see a lot of cars out, and you don't see people coming and going like you used to. And I'm like, yo, my neighborhood kind of looks deserted. Everybody's cars is parked in their driveways, but it's not the people, the humming and going, the busing and riding, and the kids out. All of that kind of thing had really just came to a halt. And I really took an inventory of yo, I miss people. Like I really miss that. I miss the interaction, whether they get on your nerve, whether they don't. It's just those interactions that you have that you're like missing. And that was something that was really important to me. And when I threw myself into LinkedIn, I said, I'm going to create that through Zooms, through LinkedIn's, through networking, through, getting on and talking to people, sharing stories, hearing about people. I kind of replaced that with that. What has the pandemic like? Because we're going to be talking about this pandemic. I think I was telling someone yesterday, we're going to be talking about this pandemic for a long time. It's sort of like anything tragedy or calamity that happens to the United States, but this has happened to the world. So like we're going to be talking about the effects of this for some time to come, even if we're not as sick or people aren't dying as much. It has took a toll on us as a humanity. What has the pandemic like taught Claudia? What lessons have you learned from the pandemic, whether they were bad or good, or some directions that it gave you? What has the pandemic taught Claudia?
I mean, actually a lot. The pandemic was huge for me in the aspect of I actually got time to figure things out and do things and explore. I think a lot of us are so busy. We keep ourselves so busy all the time. We never let ourselves just be. And by just being, I was able to tap into things that I didn't know were going on with me. And then I was like, you know what? Let's start doing all the things that you always say, well, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I got healthy. I started working out again. I would take long walks with my dog and just breathe and meditate and look around and be present. These are all things that if I was going to take a walk, I had to schedule it. Okay, I got 10 minutes. I can take a walk with the dog real quick and I can get around the block and then I can get ready for work and I'll get in my car and then I'll go to work. And this is what I'm going to do. But that all stopped for me. And that was like the first time I didn't do anything since I was like 15 years old. It was me. I was home. That was it. I was like, wow, okay. So week 1, you're lazy and you go, okay, this is not a thing. This is not something I can do. And then you start really diving in. And what I learned, number 1, is that I really do need people. I found that I have so much energy that if I'm not around people to give them some of mine, I can't sleep. I don't really know what to do. And I'm a person who loves sleep. Like, give me a nap any day of the week. I am down. I don't care how long it is. I am all about sleep. I've been that way since I was a kid. But I would wake up every day full of energy and I'd walk the dog and I'd work out and I'd do some kind of a project and, run around and whatever. And then, the night would come and it would be time for me to go to sleep. And I would be like, well, I'm not tired. So now what? So I go to bed and I was like, I'm not really tired. I'm not really tired. And I found that I would only get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, which normally me, if I could have 8 to 10, I would be the happiest person of all time. It was the day that I walked back into work and I work with people. So I'm with people and I'm talking to people and I'm expelling all this energy and helping them and nurturing them. And when I walked in the door that night, I opened my back door and I stepped into my kitchen and I went, I'm tired. This is great. So I learned 100%. I absolutely need people. I learned that time is a thing that you ask for on a regular basis, but you don't really know what it means until it's given to you. And you need to use it wisely. And you're given this time so that you can explore and do the things that you want to do. And look what happened. I got on here. I got on this amazing boot camp and learned LinkedIn and found more people, which is great. And now it's like I'm coming even more out there and meeting new people that I can help. And I'm grateful for it. So even though it was a situation where we really learned a lot about feelings and we learned about, I feel like, what people can take, how much weight can actually be put on your shoulders and who breaks down from that and who rises up from it. There's definitely a difference in those type of people. And those people really came out during this. And just because you're one or the other, that's not wrong. It's not wrong because you broke down and you didn't know how to handle yourself. That's okay. It's not wrong that you had all of a sudden an epiphany of how you could really take this to the next level. That's not wrong either. It's your journey. It's your path. It's called self-discovery. And it's allowing yourself to be whoever you are and knowing that is okay.
Yeah, that's cool. And it taught me, well, it didn't really have to teach me about vulnerability, but what it did do was enhance my thought process about vulnerability and what people were really dealing with in which I was talking to people about before that time. But we had such this, like you say, it was just this not being able to, or in their mind anyway, not thinking that they would stay still. My grandma used to tell me all the time as a little kid, she's like, sit down, boy, you act like you sit down, like you're going to miss something. And I think like, cause my energy wasn't like you, but I always wanted to be doing something. I wasn't like necessarily always like you are happy energy all the time, but I just like to stay busy because I felt myself busy. To me, my understanding of busy was learning, was understanding, was trying. So if I stayed busy, my mind developed, and that was my thought process. So I always stayed in, and my grandmother used to tell me all the time when she babysit me, she's like, boy, sit down. You act like you're going to miss something. You act like something going to pass you by. Because I always had that like the anticipation of something happening. In this pandemic and what it has really taught, I think it's taught a lot of us that how did that really make you learn that you think in business and in dealing with people, was this a good thing or a bad thing in your eyes?
For me, I think it was definitely a good thing. There's so much of the time when we're interacting with people, it's about what the service is, right? Mm-hmm. So whether you're having a meeting, you're working in a spa like I do as well, anything that you're doing, that interaction is about problem solution. You weren't really engaging all the time with these people. They came in to meet with you. You met with them for what they came in for, what they asked for, and the meeting was over and you moved on. But now, because of the fact that we have all learned to, I feel like, open our hearts a little bit more and love each other, there's more time to, how are you? What's going on with you? Have you been okay? One of the first questions that I started asking people when I got back to being with people was, how have you been doing during all of this? How have you handled it? How have you processed this? Are you okay? Because the things, for those of us that were home, some people were home with their families. Some people had way too much going on. Some people were working. Some people were not working. Some people were sick. Some people had people who passed away. Those are all feelings that need to be recognized and not just glazed over, which may have been something in the past. If someone said, oh, I was sick, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, let's move on. But you're like, are you okay? Were you okay? Are you feeling okay now? What's going on with that? Or someone who lost someone and, were devastated because they couldn't be with them in the situation. Those are all moments that instead of rushing into, I would sit down next to them and say, let's talk about how you're doing right now. Where are you at? Where have you come from? Are you still feeling like you're in the same place that you're in? Have you moved forward? Have you moved backward? What kind of, block is in your heart right now? And those are things that needed to be undone so that I could figure out what it was that I exactly wanted to do with them. Because it wasn't just about case in point. It was about, I need to work on this person so that they feel whole in their heart and they feel cared about right now. And then we're going to move on to what they needed me for, like what they came to me for. But we need to start here first. I'm a big believer in, you can't move forward in your dreams and your passion and what you want to do if you're not right with yourself. And some people need help finding that. It is not easy for someone to just go and dig deep into themselves on their own. I am that kind of person because I like to know things and I like to fix things. But a lot of people don't know where to start, and that's frustrating for them. And then they just quit and they give up. They're like, I don't know what to do. Forget it. This is not for me. They need help. They need someone in their corner by their side to go, you know what? I got you. Here's what we're going to do. Let's start from the beginning. You're going to talk and I'm going to listen. And then we're going to figure it out. And we may not figure it all out today. It may take some time. That's another problem that we had. I think everybody learned that lesson real quick during this thing. Nothing is turning on a dime anymore, okay? Some days I didn't even know what day it was. I'm like, what day is it now? What are we doing? Where before I would have lived by my watch. What time is it? What are we doing? What's happening? What are we doing next? What's plans? What's my schedule look like? Where now it's like, why don't you take a minute and be present in the life and with the person who you are with and explore it and then move forward, because you're going to have a much better connection when you do that, when you've actually dug deep into not only your heart, but theirs.
Mic drop on that one. I'm just fascinated by the fact that the pandemic and what it's taught a lot of people and men in dealing with it and talking to different ones like through it, because a lot of friends and connections that I've made on LinkedIn has happened during this process. So we really gotten some open, available, consensual contact and interaction with people based upon finding out about them really. And when I thought about this and I talked to different ones, I was like, do you know this is just the way that a lot of us was brought up? Like we really were. Like when we look back on what mom and dad taught us and grandparents and how they told us, like, all these little sayings, stop and smell the coffee, give the people their flowers while they can smell them. All of these kind of things was just really what the pandemic brought back to reaffirm and enforcing us that, you guys have gotten away from that. And it's like, I never really swayed from that, but no one was catching up to that. And I'm not saying I was so ahead of the curve. It's just how I always lived. Connections were meaningful to me, and I wanted them to be, and I wanted them to grow, not necessarily for whatever reasons. I never really looked for any, but I wanted connections with people to be something that was genuinely there, and it was not for what you can provide or what I can provide you or that. And I think we've grown to that to the extent of what you're saying is, I mean, just thinking about it in. Sure, I had a point there. I had it up for a while because I wanted to really emphasize that a lot of us were just being busy versus being productive, and I think that is so key to how the pandemic has allowed us to be. It's allowed us to really reiterate and reprioritize and say, was this really important what I was doing?
Exactly.
Even in business, and we're looking at business and people being vulnerable, they're opening up now to actually letting employees know how they were feeling beforehand and how they're not coming back to situations where that's still going to be the role mod. That's still going to be the module of which they're operating by. How do you think businesses have really learned from this going forward with the pandemic? People really touching bases with their vulnerability, being able to like lay it on people and explain to people and deal with it. How do you think businesses is going to pick up with this going forward?
I think if they're smart, they're going to lean in and pay attention. You need to know what your people want, how your people feel. If you're only throwing numbers at them all the time, they are not paying attention. They are here to help you with your company. Whatever it is, they're working for you. They are in the trenches for you. They are building your dream. Why don't you start treating them like it? They're not building their dream. They're building yours. Yes. So if you are more grateful for them, and you're checking in with them to make sure they are okay. If you see that your person is coming in and they've had a night, we've all been there, where you went home, you went to bed, you thought it was going to be great, and something big happened and you didn't get any sleep and you're rushing in and your clothes are all over the place and you come in looking like a train wreck and they're like, well, you're late and you look like crap today. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have even come in, but I was coming in because it was important to me. Maybe a better conversation would have been, let's have a talk for a second. Are you okay? Do you need a day? Because it's okay. It's okay that you need a day. It's okay. You're human. Vulnerability is something that not only your employees or your team members or whomever you work with are showing you, but you need to start showing it to them. Because if you're not, then they think you're a robot or a machine and you don't care about them. And then they start to go, why do I work here exactly? Why do I work for someone who doesn't care about me at all? They just care about what I can do for them, that my numbers are good. Well, my numbers are good because they're important to me that my numbers be good. Like, I'm a goal person. I like numbers. But if you're in my face about my numbers all the time, but you never ask me how I'm doing, I'm sorry, why am I bleeding for you when I could be bleeding for myself?
Yeah.
We're in a world right now where people can go anywhere. Everybody is looking to hire. And it's about time that you start showing who you are inside to your people. It's not a weakness. And we need to stop thinking that vulnerability is a weakness. And this is something I had to overcome at some point too, because it was like, just don't talk about those things. You just focus, you don't talk about the things. But if you're going to really connect with the people that you work with, you've got to show them that they can relate to you. They've got to show them that you understand what they're going through because you've been there. And that's a conversation I have on a regular basis with my team. I let them know, I'm like, I know exactly where you're at right now because I've been there. I know you don't think that I've been there, but I've been there. This is why this is happening. And I'm going to help you get around that. where I had to dig myself out of that hole that I put into. I'm going to put a board across that hole for you so you can just walk right across it. We need to be there for each other, but we also need to be open. Just because someone is being vulnerable and they're letting you know that they've had a day, you actually should look at that and go, I am proud and honored that you would share that with me. Thank you so much for trusting me enough to tell me these things that are going on with you. Here's what we're going to do today. You're going to go home and you're going to go get some sleep because what you're doing isn't that important as what's going on with you. And you need to take care of that because you can't take care of this when your head is not here, right?
Yes.
And your heart is not here. You need to go home. You need to get some rest. Tomorrow, if you can come in, let's come in and let's try this again. But today, I don't think we're going to be good for each other today, right? Today, you need some rest because I'm going to be worrying about you all day if you're here. I'm going to be peeping around the corner and checking on you and wondering if you're okay and if I should ask you if you were okay. And I don't know if you're okay. I think today you're not okay. We've established that. It's time for you to go home. Go get some rest. Do whatever you want to do today and come back. And don't worry about it being well, I'm out of PTO or, is this going to go into my vacation time? No, it's not. This is called you need a day. So go have a day.
That is definitely it. I don't think my man Aldo said Vulnerability Inc. is in there. I started a group and I started a group maybe I think it was Monday, and I just was having to talk with a client. And it's funny that you were saying that this executive that I was talking to, and we were trying to. He's not my client yet. He's in the verge of not really wanting to know, not really sure what he wants to do, but I've already told him what he needs to do. And we talked about this same thing, and I gave him an example, which I give a lot of to executives. I say executive owns a company. He has a bad day coming to work. Someone cuts him off. He gets the finger, he gets the bird, he gets to the office. All right. Now, you as a leader, where do you go from here? And I give that to them as an action item for them to take action on. How are you going to deal with this situation that just happened to you? And now you're coming to the company that you own, and your employees are already there, hardworking, presenting projects, services, whatever, with your name on the bill. So he's like, man, I just come in, man. He's like, I just go straight past employees and go in. And I was like, I said, I'm going to hit you with this family food buzzer right now. I said, no, that's not how you're going to do it. I said, I'll tell you what you would do. And I'll tell you why you would do this and the reason behind it. I said, because when you go into the office, remember, there's already an atmosphere there prior to you getting there. And if everyone's working and everyone, maybe someone in there, not, everything's not perfect. Someone may be a little bit out of sort, but for the most part, you come into an atmosphere that's work related, work getting done, performance is being done. Now you picture this, you come into this atmosphere, slam the door to the office in front of you. Everybody is disrupted at that point. Then you slam and go into your office zone disrupted. So now you have changed the whole atmosphere of your company by you just coming in the way that you have. So now the productivity that was going on is really going to cease, if not cease, go down real low, because now you're going to have conversation. Oh, what's wrong with the boss? What's wrong with the boss? Why he like that? Why he like that? So the work is going to drop off. Secondly, you're going to have people on pins and needles now because they don't really know how to react. You change the atmosphere where they work. So I say the key to that is you're going to come in, and I say this is where vulnerability kicks in. I say, come in and envision yourself doing this. Come in, secretary, receptionist, whoever you had. Like I had just had the baddest day coming here. Almost got ran off the road. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go in the office. Don't have anybody call me nothing. Give me a few minutes. I'm going to kind of sweat it out, get myself together, come out, represent myself. I said, when you come out, I said, can you imagine how empowered you just gave your organization to say, okay, things happen. Stuff goes bad. It's not always good. Now you've shown them as a leader that you position yourself to be able to say, I'm going to change the way the outcome is in this. And he was like, oh my God, he's supposed to call me back Thursday. We see where we go. But I put these examples to him to say that we make the difference in that. And I started that club in vulnerability because I wanted people to join in and give their takes, their shares, their thoughts, their processes on helping people to move forward, because everybody don't know how. It's not easy as I make it sound, because vulnerability and someone actually coming in grips with that is very hard for them. When did you come to the point of knowing that, this was going to take for you to move forward and for you to be the Claudia that we see today?
I mean, I would say it's been a few years since I started realizing it. Like, I've always been very gracious of my team, of the people I worked with, because I had been in the other shoes where I was in a situation where I had a manager that didn't understand anything. And it was all like, why do you need that? What are you doing with that? You know, that costs money. What's going on with you? Hurry up and work. Nobody likes that person. So I made a choice a long time ago not to ever be that person. I was like, everyone's had that boss that they're like, if I am paying attention, somebody listen, may I be struck down if I ever act like this person, because this is not how you run people.
Yes.
I made that choice. But over the last few years, I've really dug into my own personal vulnerability. That's just something that I've not been very good at sharing. I've always been very good at helping.
Mm-hmm.
You know, someone comes in, I hear what they have to say. Well, let me help you with that. You know, let me take care of you. But I was never very good at taking care of myself and allowing myself to tell people what was going on with me or share my problems. I just, you know, that just wasn't something I did. So I didn't really understand it. But now that I'm getting more comfortable with it, and I still have a lot of work to do on it. Absolutely.
Oh.
I see how much more open my heart is. And I think that is something I was really missing from my life. So if we stop thinking as, you know, vulnerability as a weakness and start thinking of it as a huge strength, because anybody who's got their heart on their sleeve is amazing to me. Anyone who can just spill it all out there, no matter who you're talking to, I'm like, you're my hero, because I hope to get there one day, but I have my baby steps. Like, I'll say a little and then I'm like, okay, it's your turn. And then, you know, I get better about it. Obviously, talking on these things, I'm talking about myself.
Yes.
I never really did before. I'm great at talking about other people, but I'm opening up to it. And it's making my energy even stronger, is what I found. It's bringing me into myself more, because I'm allowing myself to feel, to be seen. And I'm okay with it. And if you don't like me or like what's going on with me or you know, anything about it, I don't care, because I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for you. If you love what's going on with me and you're happy and I'm helping you, that's great. But my journey is my own. And if I can share it with people and inspire them to be more, that's fantastic. If I don't like something about you, I'm not going to tell you. I'd just be quiet, right? I'm not going to be rude, because finding a place to be rude has nothing to do with someone's journey, and you don't know what's going on with them. So if you can accept me for who I am, I would appreciate that, because I accept everyone I meet for who they are. No judgment. I don't believe in judgment. Judgment is crap, and it needs to go in the trash can, like, real fast.
Yeah, it's key to that it could definitely go in the trash. I'm not one to judge, and I look at it and a lot of the things you're saying are so spot on. I tell people, because I had people telling, and I think I posted it a couple of days ago. I just had to redo it because of some discussions I was having with people. And they was like, man, you're going to law, man. You don't need to be like that's just like the wrong field to be opening up and be vulnerable about. And I was like, nah, I say it's absolutely the right field. I say, because I understand that we need to change this narrative of what that really means. And it's not that we're discounting. It can be harmful. It can be hurt. People can use it in destructive ways, just as they do the internet, just as they do company policies, just as they do vehicles. If anything's not used correctly, it can be harmful, right? So what are you just going to add to that? I have found that so much power is derived from vulnerability, not in the essence of even giving it. And I know you've come a long way, even if just from me watching you brought about a long way. And not only you, I've seen a lot of them has come along. There's a few in my crosshairs that I'm working with and working on. That I'm saying that, yo, you're going to see how powerful that makes you feel. And the thing about it is, it's not no one else's power. It's yours. And when you're not doing that, enhancing it or giving out that or sharing that or being intentional, you're taking away from who you are, because that is you. Vulnerability is not no one else's, it's yours. And I think that's what people have this misconception about, well, if I don't say nothing, then they won't know nothing. Well, if you don't say anything, it's going to harm how you even develop. It's going to harm how you even grow. It's going to stunt your growth. It's going to be things that you want to do that you're not going to. It's going to be things that you may succeed in that you're never going to give yourself the opportunity to. And all of that becomes when you open up. How can you go? I say it to this, and I'm gonna get to the next question. How can you be sick, make a doctor's appointment, go to the doctor, and sit in the office and don't tell him what's wrong with you? That's why I tell people that's the example of you having vulnerability and not dealing with it. I say, you just go. Why would you make the appointment? Why would you even go to the doctor if you're not going to deal with what's going on? And that's the same way with vulnerability. But I am proud of you, Claudia Wyatt, Queen of Enthusiasm. I'm proud of you because you have just from the little bit I know and see, you have come a long way with that. And it's something that we all work on. In the essence of that, what is it? What do you want people to know most about you? What I know we know all the things that you discussed, but what is something that when they see Claudia, besides the energy, because we already know that part, when they see Claudia, they want to say, yo, what's the one thing that you want people to know more about you?
You know, I don't know if I could summarize it into one thing, but when you think of me, I want you to think I can do it. That's all. I want you to see me, see my name, and go, if she can do it, I can do it. I can do it. That's what I want. And if you need help getting there, I am happy to do that for you. That's 100%.
Man, you can't say it no better than that. Do what I want. I think I've talked to you about this before. That I made a post, and I'm always talking about my posts because I love posting things that uplift, encourage, empower, inspire, all of those things that people. And I have a post that I made a little bit right after the pandemic got started, and I had a conversation with a lady who had DM'd me, and there was some tragic things going on with her. And I wrote that post, and I just sat and write because I love to write and doodle and all of those of the above too. And I wrote on there, and I wrote on there, I want to inspire people. I want to be the one that you look at and say, because of you, I didn't give up. And I always thought that was important to me because I wanted someone to look at my journey and feel that they can do it too, that I'm not this celebrity, that I'm not no superstar athlete, or I'm not all of these things that sometimes we lay claim to being what we need to be like. I'm just an ordinary Joe, or Carl in this instance, and I'm just an ordinary guy who just had some bad circumstances, and I realized that I had to work my way through it. I wasn't one to say, and I hate that phrase now. I used to be one to say, life gives you lemons, make lemonade. It's not always that simple as that. But what it is if you take what life is giving you, it's not more than you can handle. And I do that on my spiritual base, understanding God won't put more on you than you can bear. And if you take that in the essence of it, if you got it, you can bear it. That's what Grandma used to say. Grandma was one of them old church women with the old wisdom. I'll tell you, I got a lot of it. She said, baby, if you got it, you can bear it. So see, and we can get a lot from what these older ones that has said to us in our lives as growing up, grandmas, great grandmas, those, mamas or whatever, the neighborhood moms or whatever that poured into you growing up. They said a lot of great things, and they didn't have all this super duper education and all this super duper college graduate kind of stuff going on. They had the intuition and the God-given ability to understand situations and circumstances and how you can get about them. What are your future goals? I am just loving this conversation because we're just killing it right now. We're on fire. I think somebody had said later or early, they said the building was on fire, call 911. They was like,
I love that. Whoever you are, you somebody call me because I mean
that's Usama. He say the building's on. He say somebody call a firefighter because the building is on fire. You know what I mean?
Of course it's you.
Yes. And then my man Martin followed up. He just hit the 911 on that. So we doing it. Carla, thank you so much for what you said. She said judgment is meant to be used constructively as opposed to destructive. You're absolutely right. It's the consuming potential of our prefrontal cortex. She's going deep on me now. Let's be sure to recalibrate it accordingly. Make the best of it. Use it to see the best in others. That's what judgment is for. Man, awesome, Carla. I definitely totally 100 agree with that. I definitely agree with that. You were on point with that. And Usama ends out with some more fire. Yes, that was fire, my friend. It's fire going in here. It's fire going in. Tell us, what are your future goals? What is the future holding for Claudia? And what do you see yourself doing and being in the future?
A lot. I am to be more than I am now. That's for sure. I totally see my own vision, which is awesome. That's a great place to be in. I'm going to take my coaching to the next level. I want to coach outside of my circle that I'm in, outside of my area. I want to go global with that. So that will be coming soon. I actually am working on my website, which hopefully will be ready by the end of this month. I'm almost there, and I did it myself. Thank you.
Go girl,
told me that I could do it, and I didn't want to, and I did it anyway. And I learned I can do it. So I'm pretty proud of myself. You should always be proud of yourself. That's good. Because all I wanted it to be was cool, and it looks cool. So mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished, right?
I also would love to keynote speak. That is a goal of mine. I was on track for that before the pandemic hit, and then that obviously went away with traveling. But keynote speaking virtually or live, and then of course writing as much as I can for magazines, publications, books, companies, whatever. I'm going global here, so go big or go home.
Yes, you got to go global. I had someone that sent me an application because TEDx, TED Talk was on my list like quite a few years ago. I went to one. I went to a live one, and it was like awesome. Like our company was having this event, and they took a lot of the leaders, and we're gonna give you guys a TED Talk, and this guy was like phenomenal, and he had me on the edge of my seat like the whole time I was there. And it's like, he kind of brought it like, and I said to myself, yo, I can do that. I mean, just for watching him, I mean, the topic he was talking about, it was an education piece to me because I did not know about it. But I mean, as far as I was like, yo, I know so much. There's so many things that I got experience and knowledge with. I can do that. And so TED Talk has been on my radar for a few years now. And I definitely agree with you on that. It is something phenomenal, and sharing that and being able to see people. Like I got people in my network in other countries, like that would never have taken place had it not been for the pandemic. I'm interacting with people from other nations, other ethnicities. All of those things are making a combination of humanity, of which we are in. It is like coming to my door front. Like I don't have to search for it. So global is definitely where I know automatically it's going to be thousands of people that sign up for Claudia, and they're going to sign up definitely because that website is cool.
Get on your feet, people.
She said it. She said, Claudia, this has been so lovely. I always close out my show with some questions that I call my fun questions, because these are the questions that kind of give people an insight to you. Definitely I do. Gives an insight to you of what we haven't discussed, where we haven't went, with a lot of things that you talked about. And these are going to be fun for you. I always ask these two questions to all of my guests. So you are no different because you're a special guest to me. If you could change one thing about you, what would that be? Just one thing that you want to change about Claudia.
I'd like to be a little bit taller.
Really?
I'm not
going to ask you your height since you said that.
I'm not ashamed. I'm 5'3.5". But those of us that are short have very big personalities. But sometimes finding pants just aren't that easy. And I just like to make my life a little bit easier and not have to have a tailor for my pants. So
I got you. A little taller makes it. You had the model kind of height, then it makes it better for you, right? Oh, that's pretty cool. Just want to be a little bit taller, right? And my other question is my last question before we go. If you could be an animal, what animal would you be?
Ooh, I like that question. I like that question a lot. I think I'd have to be a lion because I can roar. So
hey, I love the lion. I love the lion. That's definitely my my animal, the lion, because this is so much wrapped up in that, so much character, poise. Like you see the lion, you see a lot of things, and they're not spoken. They're things within, and that's what really attracted me to that kind of animal. It's the things within, the magnetism, the charisma, all of those things that you see visually him doing. He's not telling you, he's doing it. That's what I love to hear.
And Claudia, he's got quite a walk too.
Oh man, that walk, I could get that gaze. I think of myself as Simba sometime, the Lion King. It's that gaze. It's that gaze that's like, Claudia, this has been more than fire. I've already had the fire trucks and fire. Yeah, my man Russ say you 5'3" and a half of great positive energy. Thank you, Russ, for coming by, man.
Thank
I mean,
you.
Robert showing up too. I appreciate you guys, Martin, all you guys. Look, Claudia, tell them where they can find you. Where
I'm here.
they get in touch with you.
I am on LinkedIn. DM me, connect with me. I'm happy to meet you. And I really mean that. So please connect.
Yes, she does mean that. She does mean that. And she is just what she is. What you see on this is no get up, it's no game, it's no show, it's no put on. This is Claudia. I can't imagine Claudia just waking up. It's probably the same thing. She's wakes up out the bed. Good morning, everybody. You know, because some people not those morning
After
people.
coffee. After coffee.
Okay, after coffee. There's a stipulation in there after coffee, right? So she's one of those ones that just like wake up and just like bring it, you know. So I can definitely see you just waking up after your coffee, just waking up with this attitude of like, yo, I'm about to take on the world. And I can definitely tell that. You guys, thank you all for coming out. Tam, Russ, Ra, Martin, Aldo, Carla, Mohidu, my man. Hey, where you been, man? I ain't seen you in a minute. Thank you for coming out. Usama, everybody for coming out. Shree, I don't want to miss anybody. Charlene, thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining. Thank you guys for participating. Thank you for supporting. Please go and check out Claudia, everything that she has for you. She has some good stuff. And yes, she is loving the energy. She brings the fire all the time. And it is just something awesome to see. Something awesome to see. So check her out. Go to her webpage. I will be on tomorrow, guys. I got a busy week this week. Claudia has a busy week too. So I want you guys to follow. Claudia, you didn't tell us. What are you doing this week? Do you got more events, more shows?
I do. I actually have a couple more shows this week. I don't normally do this many shows in 1 week, but I'm a part of the International Spa Association, iSpa. So I will be on their town hall on Thursday. And then a lovely lady named Molly, who is out of Boston working with imposter syndrome. I will be doing her podcast on Friday. So you'll be seeing a lot of me. Get in line. I'm here for you. But spots are filling up quick. Thank you for coming, everybody. Much appreciated.
Am I back?
You're
yes,
back.
I don't know what it
Better
is.
than ever.
It got dark clouds over in Jersey, so it might be about to shower or a storm. But I thank everybody for coming out. Thank you guys so much for hanging in. Claudia, I think I heard most of where you're going to be this week. I got my man Usama's on tomorrow. We're going to get to
my
it.
Energetic twin.
Yes, the energetic twin. You know, we're going to get it on, and he's going to bring his as he called me, walking the wisdom. I'm going to hear his wisdom tomorrow, and he's going to tell me some things that we can do and be about as we continue on this vulnerability journey. I had a busy week, guys, but I am enjoying it. It is what it's all about. This humanity, us coming together, us connecting, networking, showing love to one another. Oh my God, that is so important. No matter what it is, show love to one another. And this is how we will be going forward. Thank everybody again for coming out. Claudia, thank you again, dear. I cannot thank you enough. Thank all of you guys that came out. Catch this on hashtag replay. We'll be replaying anyone that wanted to make comments or wanted to ask questions or just want to know how you can get involved, what we're doing. If you want to join Vulnerability Inc., also let me know. It's a group. We're growing. It's blowing up. People are coming there, sharing things and being part of a community that will help and support each other. And I'm just proud to be a part of it. I'm proud of those that have joined as well. You guys have a great one. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And for me and my energy queen of enthusiasm, we are out. Thank you, guys. We love you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.